A few years ago, a bored weeb was looking for random anime to watch and just happened to come by a certain title. With nothing much else to do, she said, "What the heck?" Little did she know that 12 episodes later she would be scouring the internet for the actual game. I have been into RPGs for a long time, and I guess my love for anime kind of seeped into my interests in playing RPGs. When I found out that Phantasy Star Online was an actual game in Japan, I wanted to try it out. Problem was, number one, it was on PS Vita, and number two, it was Japanese. In Japanese. The first hurdle I could have conquered because I did eventually acquire the portable console, but the major disappointment was the second one. At that time, I had zero literacy when it came to hiragana and katakana, not to mention my limited vocabulary. And with problem number two, it meant that there were only Japanese servers, which at the time seemed impossible for me to comprehend on how to get into. The anime was decent, but the game was what really interested me, so I felt the disappointment for a while until I forgot about the whole thing altogether and moved on to different things. I sometimes spend my time on Twitch browsing the live channels and the ones that have anime tags on them. I was surprised around 2 to 3 days ago that there were a lot of channels streaming PSO2. My first reaction was, huh. Then I saw the stream names that went like NA release, and I swear I felt a jolt of happiness. I had a bit of trouble at first getting the game. It's a Microsoft exclusive, so you only get to play it on PC or Xbox. But let me give a quick run on how to do it. Number one, update your Windows. Unfortunately, you have to do it because the Microsoft Store gets a bit buggy when you try to download and your Windows version isn't up to date. Number two, open your settings and change your region to US or United States since the game is literally the North American release. So, fellow weebs hailing from the EU and my peeps in Asia, change your region first. You can change it back after you get the game. Finally, go to the Microsoft Store and type in Phantasy Star Online 2. It should appear and click Get. For those who are worried about the specs, I was surprised myself at the minimum and maximum requirements it needed. Well, I suppose it is an old game that got ported, and computers are hella OP these days. Let me warn you though that after you install from the store, like most other MMOs, you get a launcher that downloads even more files, so if your internet is not very good, it might take a while. Being a PlayStation sort of person, I had to set up an Xbox account first. Is that what you call it? Xbox account? But after that, we were good to go. I was kind of surprised that the game opened in windowed mode and couldn't be resized. My monitor is pretty average and I couldn't even get it to be in full screen. A few minutes after startup, you get a prompt to choose your control scheme, keyboard or controller, and with a tip saying that when you use a controller, you can use your keyboard to type when you talk to your friends. Problem is, I have no friends. And upon choosing the controller, you can also choose the type of buttons you have: Xbox, PlayStation, and I guess a generic one. So I plugged in my DualShock 3 as recommended and chose the appropriate buttons. You have a variety of races, is that the right word, to choose from? From a regular human to an android to full on Gundam or Kira Yamato. Each race has their own special affinities when it comes to classes, etc., etc. Yeah, this ain't my first rodeo. Then you get to choose your class. Character creation has always been a fun part for me, and boy, I had a lot of laughs at how it worked in this game. Your avatar is very customizable, and if you spend a significant amount of time on it, you could look very unique. But I'm basic, so okay, just 30 minutes, no big deal. Wait, why does he look familiar? Oh, fuck. The gameplay is pretty smooth and the controls are easy to learn. My Asian ass got a bit confused with the X and the cross and circle when it came to opening and closing, but nothing major. I also chose the Braver class, from which the description said you could change from close range to mid range combat, and I was a bit perplexed when they gave me a bow and arrow during the first tutorial. During the second area in the tutorial, though, you can change your loadout during real time. Katana for exclusively close combat, the bow and arrow for mid range, and a gun X sword that could change modes depending on which one you want. And you also get an NPC friend during the tutorial who, based on his conversation bubbles, is British. Well, that's if you chose the English dub. If you chose the Japanese dub, then it's all confusion. I have yet to start new quests beyond Chapter 0, but it's definitely something I would play again. Thank you very much for watching. This has been M, and that's it for today's study break. Take care!